Good afternoon, everyone. It is Thursday, April 3rd at 12:34 p.m. and we need to talk. We need to talk about severe weather today, tomorrow, and Saturday. We've got new updates, significant severe weather risk. I'm going to wait till we get the viewer count up just a little bit before I get started so we can get some people in here, hopefully help with some questions when we're done. Looks like we're right at 100 on Facebook, so we'll go ahead and get started. So, first and foremost, my name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. Thank you for watching and thank you for trusting me. Looking at the radar right now, we don't have any severe weather ongoing right now. It's 12:45 p.m. It's Thursday. The concern today, we do have some severe weather potential today. I would expect tornado watches or severe thunderstorm watches to be issued relatively soon for parts of central and southern Arkansas. This is our severe weather risk for today. So if you haven't been keeping up, we have severe weather risk today and again tomorrow and Saturday, and I'll touch on those if you can give me just a moment. This is our severe weather risk for this afternoon. You can see the large orange shading. That's an enhanced risk area. Folks, I know that enhanced risk area goes way up to like Jonesboro and north of Conway. But I think today the highest severe weather risk is going to be closer to like Little Rock and south, specifically in southeast Arkansas. I'm a little confused with the risk in general. Obviously, I trust the National Weather Service, but the warm front, where the greatest instability is shoved well south. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. This is the high-resolution rapid refresh, and it's a high-resolution data set, and this is what the radar could look like as we go through the afternoon. So after we get through lunch and we go through the early afternoon hours, you can see stronger thunderstorms could initiate and form here in the southern half of the state, specifically south of Little Rock. Places like El Dorado, up to north, near Monticello, areas west of there, over to Texarkana, maybe Pine Bluff. And we have a warm front that these storms are going to be kind of positioned on. And if we have storms that are able to interact with the front, that could pose a conditional risk for a strong tornado or two this afternoon. I think the biggest concern, like I said this morning in my post, is very large hail. We could have thunderstorms today that produce very large hailstones near and along just to the north of this front. And I think this is most probable in central and southern Arkansas. You can see here on the instability, the front is positioned here. So we've got a lot of storm fuel down here to the south, but up to the north, we don't. If you live in Little Rock, Fort Smith, it's probably even kind of cool up there compared to what we were dealing with yesterday. The warm, most humid, saturated environment is south of that boundary down here. So if we have storms that can interact with that boundary, that warm front, that's where the biggest problems will be today, which should be in southern Arkansas. I want to stress that again. If you live in Jonesboro, northwest Arkansas, maybe even areas north of Little Rock, over to Fort Smith, Mena, your tornado risk today is not, it's not very high. The risk is much further south today. We'll have to watch the hail threat, though, across central and southern Arkansas as well. We have significant severe weather likely for tomorrow. I think the risk for severe weather tomorrow is quite a bit higher than it is today. And this includes more of western Arkansas, central Arkansas, north central Arkansas, and southwest Arkansas. The National Weather Service, they just now issued a level 4 or 5 moderate risk. So I'm repeating myself. A moderate risk, level 4 or 5, the red shaded area, include places like Conway, Russellville, Clarksville, Hot Springs, Mena, Arkadelphia, Texarkana. But we also have a large enhanced risk that encompasses around that too, the orange shaded area, the level 3 of 5. And this is a large hail and tornado driven risk for tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. So Friday, April 4th, 2025, not to be confused with today or Saturday. So we need to remain weather aware today. We need to remain weather aware tomorrow, Friday. And Friday, I am concerned about Friday. This is the actual tornado risk from the National Weather Service. You can see that red shaded hatched area. This is indicative, higher confidence that we could see strong tornadoes again tomorrow. So we're talking EF2, EF3 or stronger, not the smaller ones and weaker tornadoes that don't last as long. Some of these could be long track, significant, violent tornadoes. We dealt with this yesterday, so we should be well familiar with what I'm talking about here. But if you live in the red shaded or yellow shaded areas, which is most of us, tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, it is pivotal and crucial that you remain weather aware and pay attention to the weather. Folks, if you live in Western Arkansas like me, we've been very lucky. We've had hardly anything the last month when it comes to severe weather. Eastern Arkansas has taken the brunt of that for us. Tomorrow, the script is getting flipped, and it's the western half of the state. So I'm begging you, don't have this mindset that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Ask Eastern Arkansas how that feels. They've had multiple violent tornadoes in the last month, and unfortunately, we might have more of them tomorrow. And then we have another severe weather risk. I do want to go over this real quick and show you. So this is the tornado parameters for tomorrow. I was looking at this earlier. This is for around 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. You can see the tornado parameters really spike here in west central, southwest Arkansas. So from Fort Smith down to Texarkana, over to Little Rock, Conway, Maumelle, north to Clinton. And there might be a sharp cutoff on the best parameter space tomorrow. So parts of northern Arkansas might be excluded. Northwest Arkansas might be excluded. Southeast Arkansas might miss the worst of it tomorrow. But we could have a really stout corridor of tornado parameters for tomorrow afternoon, so Friday, in western sections of Arkansas. And then we have a severe weather risk on Saturday, another substantial risk of severe weather for Saturday. Northwest Arkansas might miss this one. West Central Arkansas might miss this one. And a large part of North Arkansas could dodge it as well. The concern might be across more of Central, Southern, and Eastern Arkansas again. With an emphasis, there's a large enhanced risk area here, level 3 of 5. From Little Rock south down to Pine Bluff, Monticello, El Dorado, Lake Village, Risen, that part of our state. So we've got three risk areas. We've talked about Thursday, we've talked about Friday, and now we're talking about Saturday. And then Sunday, I think we're good. We can relax a little bit, at least I hope. I haven't looked at Sunday. It looks like it'll be well east of our area. But the severe weather risk on Saturday is legit too. I mean, we're talking significant potential for tornadoes. We could have large hail again. So that's kind of what we're dealing with right now, guys. We've got 3 days worth. We don't have any severe weather warnings right now. It's 12:50 p.m. on Thursday, but that could change here with time. I can kind of go over everything with you guys again. I know some of you just now joined, but we do have a severe weather risk today. So Thursday, I think the bulk of the concerns will be in central and southern Arkansas, south central, southwest Arkansas, and I think large hail is very possible this afternoon with any storms that can form and mature. There is a tornado risk today in that part of the state. So down here, I feel like it's a little bit more conditional today than it was yesterday and then what it will be tomorrow. I think the tornado risk yesterday was very high, and I think it could be high, substantially higher tomorrow as well. So just keep that in mind. I know that I'm doing this a little bit later in the day, but we still have a couple of hours here. I think the window for today for severe weather is probably that 3 to 4 p.m. window through around 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. So remain weather aware this afternoon and this evening, especially if you live around and south of Little Rock. I know that the enhanced risk area goes way up to Jonesboro and West Memphis, but I wonder if the bulk of our problems will be south of there towards Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia, and so on. And then once again, just to kind of go over this again, we have a substantial risk for severe weather tomorrow. So Friday, April 4th, 2025. I think the risk for tomorrow, Friday, could be a higher end risk. Again, kind of like Wednesday. I'm not saying it will be like Wednesday as far as the totality of how things evolved, but I think the tornado risk is higher, kind of like yesterday was. And that's mainly for the western half of the state, from Little Rock over towards Fort Smith, Mena, Hot Springs, Arkadelphia, Texarkana, Russellville, Clarksville, up to Clinton, and so on. So definitely, if you live in the western half of Arkansas tomorrow, it's pivotal that you pay attention to the weather tomorrow afternoon. Probably, I would venture to say probably that window of time from 3 to 4 p.m. through 10, 11 p.m. So for Friday. And then once again, we have a severe weather risk on Saturday, which could be substantial and significant, mainly south of Little Rock, southwest and southeast of Little Rock. So, lot going on. We've been really busy. We had severe weather Sunday. We had significant severe weather yesterday. And of course, we have chances today, Friday and Saturday. So I know everybody is tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it too. So I'm going to look at the chat here and see if I can help answer a few questions before I don't think any have been issued because I don't have a notice on my phone. Actually, I lied. It looks like oh, never mind. That's not for us. I'll have tornado watches or severe thunderstorm watches posted for tomorrow if need be. for today if need be, whenever they come out, but I don't have anything on my phone yet. So if we have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to get to a few of them. I'm going to get off here and make another update on my Facebook with the moderate risk upgrade for tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So Jaslyn says Conway today. Yeah, so Conway is technically included in a severe weather risk today. I think the worst of it could be to your south towards southern Arkansas, southwest Arkansas, but it's something to watch. I think large hail is the main concern for you in Conway. The tornado risk looks pretty low. Union County today, great question. Yeah, some of Union County is in that enhanced risk area today. Large hail, tornadoes will be possible as well in Union County. That's way south, down by El Dorado. How bad do you think it'll be in Little Rock Friday? Annalee, Little Rock is under a significant risk of severe weather on Friday as well. You're under a moderate risk, level 4 or 5. I think the worst of it is going to be in that Little Rock to Fort Smith corridor down to Texarkana and up to around Clinton, so the western half of the state. Is it safe to travel from Fayetteville to Jacksonville tomorrow around 1:30? I hate to give anyone travel plans. Just know if you plan on traveling from Fayetteville, that's a pretty long trip going down 49 to 40 and over to Jacksonville. Just know that there could be some storms that form in the early afternoon hours that could be strong. I think the worst of it is later in the day, but just something to keep an eye on. So Summer says on Friday, will it be a squall line or individual storms? That's a good question. Let's look at it together. Earlier, it kind of looks like how yesterday evolved, if you ask me. Once again, I'm not saying it's going to be a repeat of yesterday, but the system itself looks similar. And we have, so on Friday afternoon, this is around 1 p.m., not a whole lot going on. We've got some showers, 2, 3, and this is where things get scary to me. I don't like the way this looks on the models. You've got these individual supercells that are forming in an open warm sector where the tornado risk is rather high, especially in western Arkansas from Fort Smith to Little Rock. I don't have a drawer, but in this part of the state. And then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I think the severe weather risk from 4 to 8 p.m. is going to be maximized. We could have supercells much like we did yesterday. We could have multiple tornado warnings across western Arkansas tomorrow afternoon, and the tornado risk will be higher than normal for this part of the state. So Summer, to answer your question, it looks to me like it could be individual supercells or maybe a broken line, which would, I feel like, support a higher tornado and large hail risk rather than just a straight squall line with just a damaging wind risk. Julie says, what's the biggest threat for central Arkansas today? That's a good question. The biggest threat for central Arkansas today is likely large hail. I think the tornado risk is going to be south of Little Rock towards El Dorado, Texarkana, Rison, that part of the state. The warm front is shoved pretty far south. Annika says, does Cabot have to worry today? No, I don't think you have to worry, but just know that there might be a few stronger storms this afternoon with a hail risk. Judsonia today or tomorrow. Judsonia technically is under a risk today. Judsonia, I think the risk may be a hair lower tomorrow than what it was yesterday, but certainly need to watch the weather both days. Are you referring to Northwest Arkansas for tomorrow? Northwest Arkansas, like the Fayetteville, Bentonville, metro areas, are under a risk for severe weather tomorrow. It's not as high as it is to the south and southeast, towards Russellville, Hot Springs, and so on. So Northwest Arkansas could miss the worst of it, but that doesn't mean you'll miss storms completely. How is Fort Smith looking today? Well, Fort Smith, I think, is going to avoid the worst of it today. Fort Smith is positioned here well to the northwest of the better conditions. It's kind of cool in this area today. If anything, we had some hail early this morning. I live somewhat close to Fort Smith. The worst of it's going to be well south of Fort Smith. The severe weather risk tomorrow for Friday will be much higher in Fort Smith and surrounding areas. Wind in Harrisburg today. Yeah, you're under an enhanced risk for severe weather today, and wind in Harrisburg, level 3 of 5. I think large hail is the concern there. The tornado risk is much lower. It's more higher to the south. Jonathan's in Greenwood. Jonathan, if you're asking about today, the severe weather risk is pretty low here in Greenwood. Tomorrow, much higher. Yeah, Greenwood and Boonville, both substantial severe weather risk tomorrow with a higher tornado risk for Friday. Jonesboro, you've got a severe weather risk today, level 3 of 5. I think the risk is a little lower tomorrow for you compared to what we dealt with yesterday. Pine Bluff, the severe weather risk in Pine Bluff today I think is a little bit higher than a large part of the state. Large hail and tornadoes are a concern in Pine Bluff. I think more so large hail than anything. And then tomorrow for Pine Bluff, I think your concerns are more to the west, so you might be okay, but we'll have to watch for a few storms. I have to get on a plane to XNA at 8 a.m. tomorrow, hoping weather cooperates. You should be okay in the morning, 8 a.m. Batesville's in a lower risk today, ain't it? Says Philip. Yeah, you're under a 3 of 5, but I think the worst of it's well to your south today in Batesville. I missed the timing for Friday. What's the Clarksville timing tomorrow, afternoon hours? Likely hopefully after school pickup, that 4 to 8 p.m. time window is where the worst of it's going to be. What about Mena? Mena today, you're under a 3 of 5, but the severe weather risk tomorrow is much higher in Mena, a level 4 or 5 moderate risk. So, guys, hopefully that kind of answers some questions. I covered north, south, east, and west to give you guys some reference points for severe weather. I want to leave you with a couple of things. I'm going to hop off here and make a post on Facebook about the moderate risk for tomorrow. I understand that many of you are likely or will soon be dealing with severe weather fatigue. It's very real. Some of you have likely experienced nothing. Some of you have lost everything. Okay? For those of you who have lost everything, my thoughts and prayers are with you. I know that that's trivial sounding at times, but I truly mean it when I say that I'm so sorry that you've lost everything. And I know this sucks, and we're dealing with more severe storms possible today, Friday and Saturday, but we'll get through this as always, and I promise we will. So stay focused, stay prepared, mentally stay prepared. I know that you're probably tired. Severe weather fatigue is real. We got a few more days to get through this, and we'll be done. Okay, and we can hopefully get a break for a few days and get some stuff cleaned up around here. So stay weather aware today, tomorrow, and Saturday. I will have updates on all of my social media, like every day. I do it all day. So, Facebook, Twitter, I do stuff on YouTube. I'll have live streams if necessary. If we have tornado warnings today, if we have significant hail risk today, I might hop on the live and chat about it. It looks like tomorrow, Friday, I'll have a long-term live stream because we could have multiple tornadoes tomorrow. And then on Saturday, of course, we'll adjust as necessary and I'll be live if I need to. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker, and I'll catch you next time.